We are 7 weeks removed from UFC's last pay-per-view, and I, for one, am very excited to get back to the big boy fights. UFC 320 is this weekend, and we have 2 title fights that are going to kick off a spectacular October. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to break down the entire UFC 320 fight card, giving you my picks, predictions, and bets. Here's a look at that spectacular October. We are in the unicorn of fight weeks, where if you go to WeWantPicks.com and you become a member, it's only $10. You'll unlock every pick, bet, and tool, but you will get 2, not 1, but 2 pay-per-views in that mix, and the 2 fight nights in between are not Apex cards. October is going to be spectacular. We're going to kick it off with UFC 320. Then we're heading over to Rio. Then we're heading to Canada, and then we're heading to Abu Dhabi for a heavyweight title fight. Go to the website, WeWantPicks.com, and unlock everything. It is by far the greatest offering this space has ever seen. The safety parlay for UFC 320 is up right now, ready to go. But the website is more than just some copy-paste bets. We have a full suite of tools, like the Fight Simulator. This is going to simulate fights 100,000 times. Like the Tape Index. You like to do your own research? We got you all set up. Like the Data Analyzer. This gives you the ability to deep dive and manipulate data to find your betting spots. Like the Line Movement Tracker. This will give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. The Prop Hunter, a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets, and all of that, plus a million other things I did not mention because these intros get too long, available right now. It's $10 for all of it. No upsell, no cross-sell, no weird tiers, $10. All of it instantly. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Unlock every single thing for not only 2 pay-per-views, but 2 spectacular fight nights in between. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Let's go ahead and break down this card. We're going to open up the UFC 320 fight card with a tremendous favorite. We got Veronica Hardy at more than a 5-1 favorite taking on Brogan Walker. Frankly, she should be a 10-1 favorite. This is not going to be a close fight. Veronica Hardy, a 5 times Taekwondo champion. She's got good power, good footwork, technical striker, light on her feet. She's fast. She bounces around. She charges forward. She'll throw left hooks. She'll throw straight rights. She does a really good job cutting angles. She's not just a striker, though. She's got clean takedowns, good game planning, high fight IQ. If she can get a fight to the ground, she can get herself out of some trouble if things are not going her way. She is coming off that decision loss to Eduardo Moura, where she had the striking, but the takedown defense was the problem. Brogan Walker is going to have that similar game plan to Eduardo Moura. She's going to come forward, try to get some takedowns. The reality is Brogan Walker fights once every few years, and I guess it's her time to show up. She's been a professional since 2014. She's only fought 11 times. She did have a BJJ black belt, I'm going to say gifted to her, about 5 years ago, but she's very outspoken. She thinks she's a striker. She's not a striker. She's not a grappler. She's just not very good at fighting, and it's unfortunate because she did make it to the Ultimate Fighter finale. I'm going to keep this quick. Brogan is not very good. Veronica Hardy may not be fighting for a world title anytime soon, but she's a good fighter. She absolutely can win. This is an easy, straightforward pick. Then we have Ramiz Brahimaj taking on Austin Vanderford in what might be a grappler's delight. Before I break down this fight, though, how about these graphics, huh? These are the little details that separate me from the rest of the goons using Tapology. That background on this very custom graphic that has every data point you could ever need, that background is the official UFC background. Go look at the official fight poster for UFC 320. That's the background. I don't even have Photoshop skills, but I have to go in there and dig and pull out the fighters and keep just the back. I mean, guys, I am going to glaze myself here. It takes hours to do this shit. We got Ramiz Brahimaj, every meaningful statistic on this page, and then Austin Vanderford. Ramiz Brahimaj is an accomplished grappler. And even though he is an accomplished grappler, he can get stuck on his back. If he doesn't get the wrestling going and you take him down, he's going to play that jiu-jitsu game and it's not going to do well for him. He can strike with some solid power, though. The hands are okay. He does have some success there. But it's not enough to win. He's not going to win a striking-only fight. All 12 of his wins are by finish, and 11 of those finishes are by submission. Definitely, without question, a finish or bust fighter. And his last 2 outings, it was a finish. He's taking on Austin Vanderford. OnlyFans special, Austin Vanderford. Good old-fashioned American wrestler. He comes forward, he strikes for a few seconds, and then he's going to shoot a takedown. He's not very fast, but he does grind. He's got good control. He does a really nice job shooting and reshooting. But if he cannot take you down, the striking's not going to get him through a fight. The knock on him has always been his chin. He's a tough guy. He's not a quitter, but that chin isn't necessarily going to hold up in every single exchange. He is coming off that TKO finish over Nikolay Veretennikov in his short notice UFC debut. That is Paige Van Zandt's husband, and if you want to see his wiener, I'm suspecting you can. Maybe I'm wrong. I have never checked out their spicy content, but I imagine that's what's going on in those videos. I also imagine the money they make from that, he doesn't need to be fighting. So maybe you could question his work ethic here, but I think that would be an insane thing to do. Austin Vanderford has always been a come-forward, grinding grappler, and this fight is grappler versus grappler. And when I break down a grappler versus grappler fight, I got to run down a comparison chart. Who's the better actual grappler? Just raw jiu-jitsu. In this case, I think it's Ramiz. But in MMA, I think they're even, right? Jiu-jitsu on a mat and jiu-jitsu in a cage with punches are two very different things. There's no pull guard, butt scoot, and wait for a scramble because you're going to get elbow sandwiched. Then we got to go, who's the better striker? Well, neither one of them is very good. Technique-wise, I don't think it matters. Ramiz might have a little bit more just raw power. Then you ask yourself, who's the better wrestler? And to me, that is the most important thing in a breakdown like this. If the jiu-jitsu is fundamentally about the same and the striking's about the same, then the person who can control where the fight goes, whether it stays on the feet or goes to the ground, that person is who wins this fight. And in this case, that's going to be Austin Vanderford. The jiu-jitsu off Ramiz's back is not the same as the jiu-jitsu on top. I think Austin comes forward, gets the takedown, stays safe. I don't know if we're going to get a finish in this fight. In all likelihood, probably not. Ramiz is too good of a grappler to get subbed. Probably good enough off his back to stay safe. I don't see Austin Vanderford getting taken down because he's the better wrestler. So Austin Vanderford's going to be the pick. Not the most confident pick I have on this card, though. Then we have Punahele Soriano taking on Nikolay Veretennikov. And this is going to be another interesting breakdown because for Punahele to win this fight, he is going to have to stick to a very specific game plan. And I don't know if he will. He's not the most trustworthy guy in the world. He's not a guy that you can just be 100% sure will do what he's supposed to do. Sometimes he just goes out there and has some fun. And that'll be a problem if he does that here. Punahele Soriano, though, is a heavy-handed striker. He's fluid. He's not the most, technically sound, but he's got the big, heavy power, and he will flow between combinations. But the striking sort of came later. He's a Division III All-American wrestler who, despite those wrestling credentials, actually has some pretty dog shit takedown defense. He's been taken down 18 times in 9 UFC fights. At times, he can be first-rounder bust. He does retain his power late into the fight, though. He's coming off that second win at welterweight. He moved down a couple of fights ago. The last outing was a 30-second knockout over Uros Medic. He's taking on Nikolay Veretennikov, a powerful and aggressive striker. He plots forward. He sends everything with power. He will occasionally set up some low kicks, but for the most part, he comes in, he throws huge hooks, he launches right hands. He's durable. He has no problem in a dogfight, but he can be taken down. He's coming off that busy win over Francisco Prado where he shot 6 of his own takedowns. And that's what makes this fight so tricky. This is going to come down to what version of Punahele Soriano we're going to get. Are we going to get the 2 fight ago version where he's stuck with the wrestling, 5 takedowns against Miguel Baeza? Or are we going to get the guy that tried to outstrike Brendan Allen and was just out-techniqued and didn't attempt any takedowns? I'm going to trust here. I'm going to trust that Punahele at this weight class is here to revive his career. He is here to find wins. He's not here to just be fun and exciting. So I'm going to trust the Division III All-American wrestler to wrestle his way to a win because he's not going to out-technique Nikolay. He's not going to outpower Nikolay. So he is going to need to wrestle. My one and only concern is that Punahele just knocked out Uros Medic. And you know how it goes? These guys knock somebody out, and then they're like, that is so much easier than wrestling. Let's do more of that. So if he comes in here swinging heavy, trying to get a knockout, that's going to be a problem for him. I'm going to pick Punahele. A little nerve-wracking. And while I won't be betting on Punahele Soriano at UFC 320, I did bet on Brando Prepelic, Jamie Malarkey, Navajo Sterling, and Alexia Tainara at UFC Perth to make some very good money. Here are the results from last night's UFC Perth. We crushed it. I crushed it. Jakub crushed it. And BetSam crushed it. And I'm showing this. I have to apologize to BetSam. In this spreadsheet where I keep track of all the bets, I had Navajo Sterling as a loss for his bets for some reason. Just an error in the spreadsheet. Once I amended that, I realized the boys were up almost 10 units. BetSam had a 25% ROI. I had a 24% ROI. Jakub had the night of his life with a 75% ROI. Combined, the boys put up almost 10 units, a 43% ROI. Jakub's lock of the week hit. My safety parlay hit. BetSam's slam of the week hit. We had a night for the ages, and we are going to ride that success into UFC 320. Check out every pick, every bet, every tool. The lock of the week, the safety parlay, the slam of the week. Check it all out right now. WeWantPicks.com. Then we have everyone's favorite fighter to hate on, Patchy Mix. The most disappointing fighter so far in 2024, but we'll talk about 2025. We'll talk about that in a minute. We got Patchy Mix taking on Jakub Wiklacz, and the UFC hates Patchy Mix as much as we do, so they've got this guy buried on the prelims. They went out. This is the former Bellator world champion, a former Bellator tournament winner. This is a gentleman who came into the UFC as a highly touted, like 3-1 prospect with 20 wins and 1 loss. And his performance was so bad, the UFC said, guess what, nerd? Prelims. Prelims against the UFC debut. Have fun with that. We're still holding a grudge, guys. We are still holding a little bit of a grudge. The reality is that my breakdown of Patchy Mix right now is, it includes his pre-UFC skills. Because if I broke this guy down based purely off of his UFC performance, cut him, his future kids, cut any family member that's been associated with the UFC, and cut their cable. Don't even let them watch it. That's how bad that performance was. But the reality is, Patchy Mix is a very, very insanely good grappler. He not only will get takedowns, he'll hunt for submissions. He's long, he's lanky, he uses that really well. He did just lose a do-nothing miserable loss to Mario Batista. He literally just stood there. He embarrassed his bloodline for generations to come. He's taking on Jakub Wiklacz. Much like Patchy, Jakub is a nasty grappler. He's a grapple at all costs kind of fighter. He's going to rush forward, chaotic strikes. He immediately looks to get things to the ground. On the ground, he's a relentless finisher. He will take chances. He will give up positions to try and find a finish. He does put himself into harm's way. He'll jump guillotine. He'll roll for knee bars. And in MMA, those are not always the best decisions to make. But so far, those chances have been working for him. An aggressive guy. He is fun to watch. And he will find out if he's just too one-dimensional for this level, or if that kind of nasty Ryan Hall rolling around is going to work for him. I mentioned Patchy Mix is probably the most disappointing debut of 2025. You could argue one of the most disappointing debuts in UFC history, or at least recent memory. And I'm not even, that's not just for rage bait. Who was as highly regarded of a prospect that had that shit of a performance? And don't say Aaron Pico, because Aaron Pico at least went after it. Aaron Pico moved forward, got a takedown, was bombing away, and he got caught with a wild spinning back elbow. Patchy Mix did nothing. Just empty forward pressure, did literally nothing. Didn't even try to get the fight to the ground. That's the only way to win. Did nothing. Wildly disappointing debut. I'm not talking win-loss. Because if you remember, Brock Lesnar lost in his UFC debut. And that dude, probably the most anticipated UFC debut of all time. But it's not the loss that makes it disappointing. It's the performance. Patchy did literally absolutely nothing. And that's what's hard for me to accept. I can't accept when fighters don't even try to win. Maybe it was a long layoff. He had a very long layoff before that. Maybe it was a short notice. Maybe it was the bright lights of the UFC. Or maybe he just sucks. Either way, no chance I'm laying out almost 3-1 money on this guy. Patchy is a great grappler. He'll be fighting somebody who's also looking to grapple. So for that reason, I got to pick Patchy. I think Patchy's probably the better grappler. Patchy definitely has the higher level of experience. And despite that performance being the worst thing I've ever seen, should be grappler versus grappler, and he's the better grappler. So he's going to be the pick. I'm not touching this money, dude. Money, dude. Now I'm stale cracker. I'm not touching this money. I'm going to pick him. Picks and bets are not the same thing. Then we have Macy Chiasson taking on Yana Santos. Macy Chiasson, tall, long, Muay Thai kind of striker. She does a really good job jabbing you up. She's got a positive striking differential. She's got decent power, mostly just from sheer length than raw, like wah, wah. If you get past the length, you can have success staying in her face, but when she can keep distance, she is very good and technical. She has added grappling to her game plan. That's proven beneficial with 12 takedowns in her last 5 fights. She's coming off that decision loss to Ketlin Vieira, where she was slightly behind on the striking and just could not get her grappling going. She's taken on Yana Santos, Tiago Majeda Santos' wife, and a mother. She's a mother. She's a good striker. She lands almost 5 significant strikes per minute. She doesn't have a ton of power, but she's got really good output. She mixes things up well. She's got good kicks, and she uses those to maintain distance. She has offensive wrestling as well. We've seen her use it in the past, but it does come with a low 50% accurate and middle percent, kind of halfway point, 53% takedown defense. She's coming off that straightforward win over Miesha Tate. I think Yana is a phenomenal underdog here. Plus 185, I think she's a great underdog here because she has shown us many times over that she can rise to the occasion. I like Macy a lot. I think Macy's a fun fighter, but Macy has sort of abandoned who she was. She went from long, rangy Muay Thai fighter to a grappler. And in this fight, if she's looking to move forward and wrestle her way to a win, I think that's really a tough game plan. Because Yana can manage range well. Yana is fast. She's got good footwork. Yana's a very good striker. And this is Las Vegas. Las Vegas doesn't give a fuck about your takedowns. They don't matter. They don't matter. So empty Macy takedowns will do nothing for her in this fight. This is a very close fight. Macy could absolutely win, but I'm going to lean Yana Santos here. I'm going to pick her, and hopefully this line just keeps widening to the plus 3.5 bet. If you don't know what plus 3.5 bet is, you're basically betting the spread. So if you bet on football and basketball, you know what a spread is. In this case, we have 3 rounds to work with. Every judge scores every round 10 points or fewer. And it's fewer, not less. Connecticut education. In that case, you buy 3.5 points. The way the math sort of roughly works out is as long as the person you're betting on ends up either winning the fight, losing a split decision, or losing a 29-28 across the board, you get paid. They have to win 1 round on all 3 judges' scorecards, and that bet hits. It is going to be juice. That will be minus money. That'll be a minus money bet. But the reality is, can we all agree, like, Macy Chiasson's not finishing Yana Santos, and Yana Santos could absolutely win 1 round, potentially win this entire fight. So that's definitely a bet I'm going to keep an eye out for. And if these odds keep widening, it actually might not be that unaffordable. Make sure you check out the website, WeWantPicks.com. When I place that bet or any other bet, they'll be there. It's fucking $10 a month, you cheap sons of bitches. Then we have the mail. Guys, UFC 320 is a vlog. UFC 321 is a vlog. And for vlogs, pay-per-view. And for pay-per-views, we film vlogs. And in the vlogs, we open mail. Thomas Rinker sends us letters and tickets all the time. We've had small businesses send us products like, hey, I'm a small business in Australia and I make hammocks. Here's a hammock. Check it out. And then my fat ass hooked that thing up and got in it. If you're trying to promote your small business, if you just want to send a letter to the boys, We Want Picks, P.O. Box 406, Prosper, Texas, 75078. We got vlogs this month because we have pay-per-views this month. Then we have Daniel Santos taking on Ju Sang Yu. Daniel Santos, old school shooter box fighter. The hair color, probably going to be yellow come fight night. He plots forward. He's got tight hands. When he hits the pocket, he's going to explode with power and speed. He doesn't have the greatest chin in the world, but like everybody else on that team, he gets cracked, he drops, and he pops right back up like nothing happened. He's got very good BJJ from bottom. He can be taken down. The problem is, though, sometimes he'll just chill and play the BJJ game instead of trying to create a scramble and getting the hell out of there. He is coming off that decision win over the Korean Tiger where he had 6 of his own takedowns. He's taking on Ju Sang Yu. Ju Sang Yu is a great prospect. He's got fluid striking. He bounces on his toes. He closes range. He's got a nice wide stance. He switches from southpaw to orthodox. He mixes up where he throws his punches. He's got that Poatan-esque style where he's got that wide stance and he just plots forward. He looks for the accurate strikes. He doesn't just go crazy. He can grapple as well. He's got some takedowns, some control. He is coming off that 28-second knockout win over Jekka Saragai. But guys, we cannot forget, Jekka Saragai sucks. That guy sucks. He's terrible. And this is a weird fight. We have an interesting situation because the betting odds are saying Santos is the favorite. Minus 135, not a tremendous favorite, but a favorite. But if you go to Tapology and you see the votes, 77% of people have picked Ju Sang Yu. 77%. That tells me that you is going to be the public dog this week, and we all know what happens when everybody's on the same underdog. The good news for you, I'm not on that side. I get it. He's flashy, he's fun, he's talented, but who did he beat? Trash-ass Chiasson guy? What are we doing? My daughter could beat the shit out of Chiasson guy. But if he lays a fucking hand on her, I'll... What makes people think that Ju-Sang Yu can have wild success at this level? At a 77% clip. 77% of you have said Ju-Sang Yu wins this fight. I don't get it. He's certainly talented. But for people to be that confident is kind of crazy to me. I'm going to pick Daniel Santos here. He is the slight favorite, which is why I was surprised to see everybody on the other side. He has quality wins. He is at a quality gym. I've seen him do actual things inside of an octagon. Daniel Santos is the pick. Then we have Farid Basharat taking on Chris Gutierrez. Farid, the only undefeated Basharat. The other one shit the bed about a year and a half ago. I will never forget where I was when that happened. He was in the safety parlay, and he did absolutely nothing. He lost that fight, kind of ruined the Basharat name for generations to come. But Farid is at this point the better brother. He's a well-rounded wrestler. He's got solid striking. He's got that loose stance where he bounces on his toes. He throws a ton of kicks. He is very mobile, constantly working from side to side. He's got that taekwondo stance, and that helps him move well. That helps him stay defensively sound. He is a very good wrestler. He averages almost 4 takedowns per fight. He's coming off that decision win over Victor Hugo with the crazy mustache and the sex eyes. Taking on Chris Gutierrez. A good kickboxer, great low kicks, good cage control. He's got good volume, almost 5 significant strikes landed per minute, solid cardio. He keeps a good pace. There are no secrets to what his game plan is. He wants to come forward, chop your legs down so you do nothing, and throw state punches. His takedown defense is listed at 70%, but he has been taken down 7 times in his last 4 fights. Chris Gutierrez looks solid in his last fight. He played that outside striking game really well, but he still had wrestling holes, and I doubt they have been filled since then. Farid is an underrated striker, a very good wrestler. I think he can beat Chris Gutierrez everywhere. I think he likely wins this fight. Chris needs to lay into those leg kicks real early to try to restrict that taekwondo movement from Farid. I just don't know if it's going to work for him, so Farid's the pick. Obviously, he's a 4-1 favorite here, but I think those odds are appropriate. Then we have Edmen Shahbazyan taking on Andre Muniz. This is a grappler versus striker. There are no two bones about it. If you are on the striker side, then you expect him to keep this fight in the feet. If you're on the grappler side, then you expect him to get this fight to the ground. There's not a world where Edmen wins on the ground or Andre wins on the feet. That just doesn't exist. This is an old school matchup. Obviously, in 2025, everybody's well-rounded. But this is a very old school matchup with wild disparities in those skill sets. Edmen, the striker, a good striker. He's well-rounded, impressive kicks. He can be taken down, though, because he plants and he throws heavy. And when he plants, you can get to the legs. Takedown defense is listed at 66%. If he is taken down, he ends up in trouble. He doesn't scramble well enough to get back to his feet, and he doesn't have good enough jiu-jitsu defense to not get subbed. He is a solid offensive wrestler, though. Almost 2 takedowns on average per fight. He's coming off that decision win over Andre Petroski, where he had Andre rocked, and then Andre was able to take him down, but didn't matter. He ultimately got that win. Taking on Andre Muniz. This guy is a nasty grappler. Decent striking. The wrestling's okay. He hits pretty hard for somebody that only has decent striking. He won't shy away from the striking either, but the problem is his chin is starting to fail him. He will take real wrestling shots. They're not spectacular, but he'll shoot them. He's not just pulling guard. He does avoid the BJJ nerd butt scoot, but he is BJJ or bust. He's coming off that first-round KO loss to Ikram Aliskirov. I think Edmen Shahbazyan wins this fight the same way he should have won the Gerald Meerschaert fight. If you remember that fight, he beat the piss out of Gerald Meerschaert. He beat the absolute piss out of him. But then because he got tired and he's an idiot, he lost. Before he death-gassed, he defended 5 takedowns. He landed more than twice the amount of strikes. And Andre obviously has great BJJ, but Edmen's striking to me is wider than their grappling gap is. Whoever wins this fight is going to do so in dominant fashion. I think the best bet here is the fight does not go the distance. I'm going to pick Edmen, but if I think it's a finish on either side. So let's see what we get with round lines. Let's see what the prop bets are. I don't see this going to a decision because Andre's chin is starting to fail. Edmen is not defensively sound enough on the ground. So I think we're good with a does not go the distance. Then we have the featured prelim of the evening, a minus 950 favorite. And you could just, you could just look at this picture and know what I'm going to say. The dude on the left knocks out the dude on the right. There's your breakdown, Arrivederci. And that honestly is basically the breakdown. Ateba Gutierrez taking on Ozzy Diaz. Ateba Gutierrez, nasty striker, incredible speed, good power. He does a phenomenal job of mixing up the boxing and the kickboxing. He'll throw to the head. He'll throw to the body. He'll light up your guard so that even if you're blocking, it's hurting and your hands are going down, and then bang. He is dangerous. He only has 7 finishes, but 7 early finishes. He's a freak athlete. He comes out hot, but like so many others, that flame does tend to die down. If he doesn't get you out of there early, he will slow. But he did just get out Robert Valentine pretty early, taking on Ozzy Diaz, a former LFA champion. He is a striker. He's light on his feet. He likes to move pretty well. He's got grappling, but by no means is he a grappler. He can find finishes in the clinch or at distance. He's creative with the striking. He is tough. He's also tall as shit at 6'4", but he doesn't use range well. He's going to get knocked out here. That's what the odds are far gone. We're back to the nuts odds of the beginning of this year, but I can't even argue. I can't argue. He should be that big of a favorite. He should knock this dude out, and that should be it. Done. Then we have the app. Guys, we have an app. I have an app. Search We Want Picks in the App Store. The app is 100% free. 100% free. Doesn't cost you a penny. You don't have to be a premium member to download or use the app. What the app does is it gives you everything the website does, but it also gives you push notifications. And many times, those push notifications are very helpful. If you have access to the bets, they're helpful because, hey, we just placed the bet. Go check it out before the odds go away. If you don't have access to the bets, they're still helpful. Hey, just so you know, a couple fights dropped. Make sure you adjust your DraftKings lineups. Hey, this just happened. FYI, download the app, 100% free. Just search We Want Picks in the iOS App Store. Inside of that app, you'll have full access to everything we offer on the website. Obviously, the picks, the bets, but also the fight simulator. This is going to simulate fights 100,000 times and give you those outputs. The optimizer, the DraftKings optimizer, now builds optimized lineups for FanDuel. So you can get both UFC DFS environments. The optimizer will do all that work for you. The data analyzer, so if you want to deep dive some of the data, compare fighter A to fighter B, who's landing more strikes, who's landing more strikes in finish wins, who's landing more strikes in decision losses, any data you want, you can deep dive it, add those filters and jump right in. And this is built out for the future. You can sign up right now, do the research for UFC 320. You can do the research for UFC 321. You can work your way forward and get ahead of these events. We have a line movement tracker. This is going to give you the opening odds, current odds, win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. The Prop Hunter, a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. And we have the Tape Index. A lot of you like to do your own research and watch the fights with your own eyes. But finding those fights on the internet can be quite the task. We've got it all lined up, ready to go for you. And if you download the app, or you don't need the app, you can just use any mobile browser or a desktop browser. Or if you just go to WeWantPicks.com, it's $10 for an entire month. $10. I'm pausing for dramatic effect. Go to McDonald's, get a combo meal. Tell me if it's more or less than $10. Spoiler, it's more, and stop eating those disgusting chemicals. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. There's no upsell, no cross-sell, no weird tiers. You're going to get 4 cards, 2 of them are pay-per-views. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. Then we have the main card opener, everybody's favorite curmudgeon, Joe Pyfer taking on Abus Magomedov. Joe Pyfer, for a dude who's getting pushed by the UFC, for the dude who got the Turkish touch-up because he was not loving his hair situation, he is still angry at the world. What is your goddamn problem? Why are you mad at everybody? What is your deal, dude? The face he's making right now, the photographer was like, give me your biggest smile. That's what the fuck that is his biggest smile. Dude, the Grinch goes into his house to steal the Christmas tree. Shit's gone. Joe Pyfer took it from himself. Just sitting there and said, what's up, pussy? I already Grinched my own family because I'm a miserable bastard. Joe Pyfer might literally be the most miserable, negative Nancy, woe is me crybaby on the UFC roster. But, he can fight and he hits hard as shit. He hits real hard. Incredibly powerful striker. He's got wrestling. He's got BJJ in the back pocket. He hits like an absolute truck. He uses pressure just moving forward. Pop, 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 pop. And you feel the power, you feel the power, you feel the power, and it wears on you if it doesn't just full knock you out. I mentioned we've had to see him in the past use the takedowns, use the BJJ, and it's worked for him. He does have cardio issues, though. All that angry at the world bullshit is probably just sucking the juice out of his lungs because he fades as fights go on, and we just saw that in the Kelvin Gastelum fight. If that was a 5-round fight, Joe Pyfer's losing a decision. He is losing. The 3rd round was Kelvin. The 4th would have been, and so would have the 5th. But didn't matter. Joey P got it done. He's taking on Abus Magomedov. This guy's a pretty versatile striker. He also has wrestling as a backup plan. Sneaky power. It never looks like he's throwing big shots, but he can land clean and put people out. Long striker, does a good job using that length to counter. Does a good job keeping people at the end of his strikes. He'll throw everything from tight hooks to head kicks. And even though he is hittable, he recognizes that if things aren't going his way, he'll shoot a takedown. He'll just do nice, clean double legs right at the middle. He does fade also as fights go on. He just beat Michel Pereira, but that was a little different because he faded in that fight, but Michel did almost nothing. I think Joe's a miserable prick. Maybe he's a nice guy in real life, but like literally 100% of the media that gets put out, show me an interview where Joe's just being like sweet and cool. I don't think it exists. And maybe I'm wrong, but I do not think it exists. And I'm sure he's not actually angry at the world. I assume he'll sit down, eat dinner with his family, be a good dude. But like, holy shit. And the fans don't respond well to him either because he's just barking at everybody all the time. And even with my negative bias towards the UFC's Grinch, I got to pick him. And I'm like super confident here. I think these odds are a discount because Joe Pyfer is everything Abus thinks he is, but a little better. And the good news is they both fade. So we don't even have to worry about Joe fading as the fight goes on. They both fade. Joe hits harder than Abus. Joe's a better striker than Abus. Joe, I think, is a better wrestler than Abus. I think Joe is a better grappler than Abus. He's better than Abus Magomedov everywhere this fight goes. And the one time we saw Joe look just absolute god-awful in a fight was when Jack Hermanson just walked his ass down. But Abus doesn't have that just walk-forward pressure. And he certainly doesn't have the cardio to keep that pace. So Joe Pyfer's the pick. Maybe stringing together a couple of wins will fix the nasty attitude. Then we have Josh Emmett taking on Youssef Zalal. And this is a pretty cool fight because I know for a freaking fact with 100% certainty because Youssef told Jakub nobody wanted to fight him. Youssef Zalal could not get a fight. Everybody said no. Everybody's saying no, including Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett was saying no. And I don't know if the UFC forced his hand or what, but Youssef Zalal's on a nice little win streak. He's not the most exciting guy in the world, which is why people don't really want to fight him because he has all the dangers of a highly skilled fighter, but not the name notoriety or the excitement. So I get not wanting to fight him, especially if you're Josh Emmett. 40-year-old Josh Emmett. 40-year-old Josh Emmett who's been in like the top 5, top 6 of the division for a few years. He's a legit wrestler. He's got good power. He has 12 knockdowns in 16 UFC fights. I don't know if there is anybody else on the UFC roster that has that many knockdowns that consistently. And it's not like he's had 3 fights with 3 knockouts. 16 UFC fights with 12 knockdowns. And this is at a high level. He's not on the underbelly of fight cards. He's fighting top 20 people for the last 10 years, and he's dropping most of them. It's actually wild. But the problem, because he starts dropping people, because he has that power, he sort of abandoned his wrestling for a while. And he is a very good high-level wrestler. We did just see more of it in his last fight. He just lost to Laura Murphy. He went back to his wrestling roots, and he ended up getting the takedowns. But he's 40 years old. He is dangerous. He's got a ton of high-level experience. He has each individual skill set, but he's slowing down because he ain't young. He's taking on Youssef Zalal. They cut him back in 2023. They said, beat it, nerd. A tough slate of competition, though, but they still said beat it. He went to the regional scene, got those wins. He came back. He is now a completely different fighter. He's got high fight IQ. He can be a low-volume distance striker or an aggressive, nasty grappler who gets the takedowns, climbs your back, and gets it done. Which, considering he has 7 decisions in the UFC, this guy has fought a really tough slate. He gets hit with only 1.8 significant strikes per minute, and that includes fights against people like Calvin Kattar, who has insane volume, and Ilya Topuria. He's coming off that win over Calvin Kattar where he locked the first 2 rounds in and then literally was just on his bicycle running backwards in the 3rd. Fun fight to break down and a meaningful fight for the division. It matters. It's fun to break down because of the different narratives that you can jump on. You can either say, Josh Emmett is old, he's washed. Or you could say Josh Emmett is one of the best on the planet who has only lost to the elite people of the division. You can then say Yusuf has no good wins. Or you could say Yusuf took a round off of Ilia Topuria. He beat Ilia 1 round. You could say he outstruck Ilia. He outscrambled Ilia on the ground. And I think there's truth to every single one of those statements. I think Josh has only lost to the best people on the planet. I think Yusuf is far better than people give him credit for. Me included. When he came back to the UFC, I sat here and I said they cut him for a reason. Boy, did I look stupid because he's looked spectacular since then. I'm going to pick Yusuf Zalal here. Yusuf's ability to be an outside distance striker or a full-blown grappler is going to suit him well here. Yusuf is going to be the pick. I am surprised he is this big of a favorite. I'm surprised he's almost a 4-1 favorite. And I don't know if he should be. I think he wins this fight. But I do think you have to give Josh credit for what he has done and who he has done it with. He went 5 rounds with Ilia Topuria. And while he had almost no success whatsoever, we know how durable he is. He's a good wrestler. He's got power in his hands. And if he just comes forward with reckless abandon, he could absolutely clip Yusuf Zalal. So Yusuf's the pick. If I was going to put these odds out there, I would probably say Yusuf Zalal minus 170. And a lot of that has to do with youth. Then we have what might be the most fun fight on the card. We have an absolute light heavyweight banger. We have Yuri Prochazka taking on Khalil Roundtree. Yuri Prochazka, as we all know, the former light heavyweight champion of the world. Incredibly fun to watch. He comes out here. He brings the fight. He is a dangerous striker. Pretty much all 31 of his wins are coming by stoppage. He's got plenty of cardio, plenty of power. Outside of his fights with Alex, he's also got plenty of chin. The knock on him, though, is how hittable he is. He is hit with almost 6 significant strikes per minute, and that's an insanely high number. He trusts his chin. So he has no issue standing in the pocket, taking one to give one. He's coming off that finish win over the fattest Jamal Hill I have seen, where he landed almost 100 significant strikes. He attempted 0 takedowns. I just called Jamal Hill fat because there's a video circulating of Jamal Hill walking up on Alex Pereira, shook hands, what's up, how you doing? Jamal Hill actually seems like a cool dude. He's getting a bad rap just for some of the dumb shit he says online. But he turned sideways, fat. Holy shit, like fat. Glover was sitting there and Glover's like, are you a heavyweight? Like sloppy fat. Like not even like thick, I got weight everywhere, just stomach. And then he wore a crossbody, which didn't help because it went from like a crossbody to like a bag, like it's this far out in front because his stomach's so big. He's taking on Khalil Roundtree, Muay Thai striker. He also has a ton of power. He's insanely fast. Khalil can knock anyone out on any day. And as long as he's the one dictating the pace and the pressure, he fights really, really well moving forward. He can struggle, though, if he's moving backwards. He doesn't have much offensive wrestling with exactly 0 takedowns attempted in the UFC. Takedown defense is about 58%. He's coming off that win over Jamal Hill where he put the leg kicks out early, but he did stay cautious, which shows, okay, he's got some fight IQ on him. Ask me why there's almost a 2-1 favor in this fight. The answer is, I don't know. I have no idea. This is a very close fight. And sure, Yuri is the former world champion, but he's been knocked out twice in the last 2 years. And Khalil showed us in that loss to Alex how insanely tough he can be. And I'm going to pick Yuri here because I think that relentless, crazy person forward pressure is going to be tricky for Khalil, who does not fight as well backing up. In theory, Yuri could also get some takedowns if he needs to, but this is a close fight, and the idea that Yuri Prochazka is an almost 2-1 favorite and he just runs away with this fight is a crazy idea. Khalil Roundtree is fast, he's accurate, he hits hard, we know he has dog in him, and I think when he went as long as he did with Alex and he took that beating, I think something woke up in his head where he's like, holy shit, I can hang at this level. So I think this is a phenomenal matchup. I think it's an absolute banger. And I think that Yuri gets hit way too much for him to be a 2-1 favorite here. But I am going to pick him. I think the pressure, the threat of a takedown will suit him well. Then we have the co-main event of the evening. Merab Dvalishvili taking on Corey Sandhagen. This is a fun, fresh matchup. Merab has been, they've given him, they wanted this belt away from Merab so freaking bad. They're like, here's Umar. Here's the purple-haired dweeb 2 times in a row. Sorry, I know a lot of you love Sean O'Malley. But he just keeps leveling up. Merab Dvalishvili just keeps getting better. He finished Sean O'Malley in the rematch. He's a non-stop chain wrestler who has weaponized his cardio. The striking is decent. but just the insane forward pressure, the insane takedowns, the insane ability to keep moving no matter what is his biggest weapon. Because I think if you just go skill for skill, raw skill, cardio not included, he's not like that great of a wrestler. He's not that great of a striker. He doesn't have that great of jiu-jitsu. But the fact that he never stops, and the fact that the whole world knows he never stops, is what's really working well for him. Because now people have to mentally prepare for that cardio, and then you get nervous about your own cardio, and it's a whole thing. He's coming off that submission win over Charles O'Malley, where even as a world champion, we saw him level up. He's taking on Corey Sandhagen. He's an active striker. He lands a little more than 5 significant strikes per minute. He's got deceiving power. He's got good technique. He's fluid. He's fast. He's very good with combinations and in the variety in which he throws his strikes. He will throw punches, kicks, elbows, knees. He'll mix up where they land. He's athletic. He's tough. He ties it all out with some solid BJJ. Corey's a hard night out for anybody because of how freaking awkward he is and how he can do everything. He's coming off that injury win over Divas and Figueiredo, but injury or not, it was pretty clear Corey was going to win that fight. And I know it's basically a foregone conclusion that Merab Dvalishvili is going to win this fight. I can't imagine anybody's going to pick Corey outside of his mother and his sister. I also will be picking Merab. But I feel as if people are not giving Corey enough credit, right? It's just like, Merab wins, let's move on. I will put it out there. I think Corey is probably the toughest matchup in the top 5 right now because he can do everything. He can be good everywhere. His cardio is pretty good. He slowed down a little bit against Umar, but he himself said, I slowed down because that game plan was like run around like a psychopath so he can't take me down, and I really can't just be running around like that for 25 minutes. He said he's going to dial it in. We'll see what happens. Merab's going to be the pick, but I'm not dismissing Corey Sandhagen's ability to make this an ugly fight. Corey Sandhagen is better than Sean O'Malley. So this will not look like the Sean O'Malley fight. Corey Sandhagen beats Sean O'Malley. And if Merab beats Corey Sandhagen, I think the only fight to do for Merab at that point is a rematch against Umar, because if you remember, Umar won the first 2 rounds of that fight, and then he broke his hand. Whether the handbrake mattered or not, we'll never know because he also started to slow down because of Merab's cardio. But Merab's going to be the pick here. I just feel, Corey's just good. I just want you guys to respect him. And then we have the main event of the evening, a rematch for the light heavyweight championship of the world. We have Magomed Ankalaev defending his belt against Alex Pereira. And this is going to be, I don't know. We saw this fight, right? We saw it. And not only was it not a close fight, it wasn't very long ago either. But if we're going to play the narrative game, there's 2 different narratives you can run with. You can say that the first fight wasn't even close, the rematch won't be either. Or you can run with the narrative that Alex defended every single takedown in that first fight. He got one of his own takedowns in that fight. And the only reason he lost the first fight is because he didn't let his hands go. But this time around, he will trust the takedown defense because he did it already. He felt it. And he will actually let his hands go. And while I do think there's a lot of merit to that, and I do think Alex lost that fight because he didn't let his hands go, and I think he didn't let his hands go because he was worried about the wrestling, but now he felt the wrestling. He didn't get taken down. I think it's entirely plausible that Alex Pereira has a much better performance this time around than the last time. Not going to happen, though. What we're ignoring with that narrative is the fact that Ankalaev almost knocked out Alex. There was only one person close to finishing that fight, and it was Ankalaev. So yes, he wasn't successful with the takedowns, but he was successful with the striking. And again, maybe I filmed the bad takes. If you don't know, I have another podcast with Josh Thompson, former world champion. And we talked about this fight in that breakdown. And Josh was like, it's easy to defend the takedowns when that's the only thing you're doing. It's very hard to defend the takedowns when you're letting your hands go. Because now you have to worry about multiple things and the timing is a factor. And I agree with that sentiment. I'm going to pick Ankalaev here. I don't think this fight is any different from the first one. If anything, it will be wider. Because for Alex to have defended the takedowns and now have confidence that he defended the takedowns, Ankalaev felt the hands. Because that was the big question mark, right? Going into this fight, Alex Pereira is the hardest hitter the UFC has ever seen. And I think that's an objective fact. But he felt it. Ankalaev felt it. All right, I didn't get knocked out. I wasn't even rocked at any point in this fight. So I'm good. So now Ankalaev may come forward and say, hey, I felt the power. That's nothing. And now he might really open up his hands. And if he starts opening up his hands and Alex does not respond, he's going to win. If he opens up his hands and Alex does respond, then maybe those takedowns are here. Ankalaev is the pick, guys. That's the breakdown. I will be full-blown rooting for Alex Pereira. I will be rooting for him. I want him to win this fight. If I could have written this whole script, he would have beat Ankalaev, moved up to heavyweight, been the heavyweight champion of the world, the only 3-division champ in the history of this sport. That's what I wanted to happen. Didn't happen. I don't think he should have done this rematch. I think he should have done the exact same thing he did after he lost to Izzy. When he lost to Izzy, he moved up to light heavyweight. Look what he did. I think he should have been like, I am 37 years old, 38 years old. I lost the belt. It is what it is. Let me move up to heavyweight. Then they give him like an easy tune-up heavyweight fight. Then they do a huge title fight. That's what they should have done. They didn't. Now we're going to see Ankalaev beat this dude twice. Then Alex is going to be 38 years old, coming off 2 losses, no belt. I don't know what they're doing with him, guys. That's the breakdown. Don't forget to subscribe. My data says that 70% of you have subscribed. Thank you. But 30% of you have not. And you know what? If we had 100 people watching the videos, that's not that crazy. But we have 500,000 people watching these videos in a month period. So a bunch of you haven't clicked the button. Click the button. I would appreciate it. It costs you nothing. What does cost money, though, is premium membership. It's $10 for an entire month. You have full access to everything we do, and you have access to it inside of the app. Inside of that app, you'll have access to a data analyzer. This is going to give you every fighter on every card now and in the future. And then you can stack the fighters up against each other, add, remove filters to deep dive the data. We have a fight simulator. This simulates the fights 100,000 times. It not only tells you who wins those simulations, but it will give you each individual stat along the way. It'll say, in these 100,000 simulations, this is how many strikes Ankalaev lands. This is how many takedowns he gets in those 100,000 simulations. So not only can you use it to build a fantasy lineup, you can use that data to go to your favorite sports book, to go to Underdog, to go to Prize Picks, DraftKings Pick 6, and attack those lines as well. We have fantasy optimizers that build DraftKings and FanDuel lineups for you. We have a line movement tracker. It's going to give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, the line movement. We have a prop hunter. This is a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. We have a tape index for those of you who like to do your own research and watch your own fights. And we have more than just me. We have me, Jakub, Artem, BetSam, and an artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence is a true AI. It is a neural net that, I didn't make it. Neural net. Maybe it's neuronet. Might not even be neural. It's a freaking AI, a real one, that's picking fights with remarkable accuracy using only data. What we do not do is ingest the odds. The AI has no clue who the favorite is. It doesn't know shit. It just knows stats. And it weights those stats differently based off of outcomes like, age and biometrics versus just takedown defense. I'm not a scientist. We got BetSam screaming at shit for no reason. We got Artem, who shaved his head now. It looks fantastic. Go to the website, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It's $10. You unlock the world. You unlock the world. $10. No upsell, no cross-sell, no nonsense. WeWantPicks.com. Guys, I could not be more excited for this fight. I hope you can feel the energy coming from me, because the fact that we just went all of September with only 2 events was brutal. And as daunting as all of this can be for me in my personal life, because I got 2 little kids and I'm trying to manage being a dad and the kids' sports and being a husband while also being in this room constantly doing the graphics, which best graphics in the game, and doing the videos, it can get daunting. Like a Saturday off every now and then where I'm not watching the fights, taking notes, and then having to film the video. That can be nice. But nothing reminds you faster that shit sucks without fights and having no fights. I am glad they're back. I am glad you are here. Thank you guys for everything, and good luck this weekend.